All right, are we ready?
We're ready. Welcome to the pilot. This is the pilot.
This is the pilot for It Started with Power Rangers. Thank you for joining us. I am Sean Williams, and this is my buddy.
My name's Erin.
All right, Erin. We are best friends. Erin
You said
is.
that.
Huh?
You said
I said that? Oh, well,
that.
excuse you. Well, excuse me, that. Well, let me take that back then.
We're
Shit.
best friends.
So, let's talk about how this show came to be.
All right.
Erin will explain because she's the wordsmith.
All right. So, me and him are friends, like you said, and we hang out sometimes. And we were sitting, and what you were like, let's put on some Power Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
I think you told me about. Okay, so to start off with, I don't know anything about Power Rangers at all. I know nothing except like the basic thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're teenage people, teenage human beings, and they have powers.
Correct.
And they are rangers of what that is yet to be seen, but
Exactly.
they do range something. Um,
The
and
Rangers of Power. Hello.
Okay, okay, jeez.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was like, "Oh, one of them is a cat." At some point, so I needed to see that. So we watched it, and okay, so I've seen the first 5 episodes, and I saw the cat one,
You saw the cat episode. Mm-hmm. And
and
that is from season 3 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
we had so much fun
Mm-hmm.
watching whatever. What like that's because okay, I don't want this to come across as like we're like bashing it because I'm not. It's incredible.
I would never
I
bash Power Rangers. So.
no, that's like we're introducing ourselves. So I know nothing about Power Rangers except the little bit that I've seen. It's incredible. I don't know what's going on. And my friend Sean
Mm-hmm.
knows a lot about Power Rangers.
Uh-huh.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about Power Rangers for everyone here that's like Aaron and doesn't and knows now that one of them was a cat at one point and is now
Yes.
very intrigued.
Yes. So Power Rangers was started in the early 90s. It actually was an idea of a show back in the late 80s. And they used stock footage from the Super Sentai series that is in Japan, the very popular series that's in Japan.
I didn't
Um,
know that.
yes. And this Power Rangers was run by Haim Saban,
Is
who
that
create.
how you say it?
Yes.
Because I kept seeing. Okay, so I kept seeing the name on watching the episodes. I've already seen the first 5.
Right.
You watch the whole thing and you
Mm-hmm.
watch the delightful opening sequence. Go go go, Power Rangers go, and so
Yeah, that's how the song goes.
that's and I was like, Haim, Haim,
Haim Saban.
Saban,
Mm-hmm. Saban, yes.
Saban.
Yes.
You might think that I'm overdoing it, but I'm really not.
No, and I forget what his nationality
Saban.
is,
Okay.
but he is also not Japanese. But he created this, and he reused some of the stock footage, well, a lot of the stock footage from the Japanese version of the show, which is Super Sentai. And in 1993 created this show. Now, the background of Power Rangers is we have 5 characters. We have Jason Lee Scott, who is played by Austin St. John.
His personality is martial arts.
Yes. Then we have Zach, who is played by Walter Jones.
His personality is dance.
Uh-huh. And then you have Kimberly Ann Hart, who is played by Amy Jo Johnson.
Her personality is 90s girl.
Yes. Then you have
Likes
Bill.
to shop.
Yes. And then you have, and she's also a gymnast.
Oh,
Shout out to the
and-
gymnasts out there.
And is a gymnast who likes to shop.
Yes. Then we have Trini Kwan, who is played by Twee Trang. Rest in peace, Twee.
Her personality is other girl.
Well, this is only Erin's analysis from episode 1 through 5. Okay.
Yes, I'm sure it gets, because I'm really excited because I want to go on a journey where it's like I want, because like anybody who actually knows me knows that I will get so deep into this after I watch enough of it, and will like be like theory crafting and
Yes.
analyzing throughout the whole thing. But at this point, I'm like, well, I guess we could talk about, let's do Billy next because we
Exactly.
talked
Then
about
you
that
have Billy, who
Katie.
is played by David Yost.
His personality is smart.
Yes.
He
So
is a genius.
yes. So the premise of the show, well, first of all, let me talk about my love for Power Rangers. Let's go to backstory, not of the show, of just Sean's love
Yeah,
for
here
Power
we go.
Rangers.
So there is somebody here who
Yes.
has their shit together.
So Power Rangers was a thing, and I actually, in 1993, I was 4 years old. Um, it was like my life for, I want to say, 5 or 6 years, and then after a while it kind of fizzled out. I still kind of looked back on to Power Rangers, and I kind of stopped probably around, so I was a super avid watcher until the end of In Space. And then I was like, someone who watched the show in and out all the way up until Jungle Fury, maybe Jungle Fury.
Jungle Fury.
Yeah, Jungle Fury.
Do
So,
we go? Okay, wait. So do we go to the jungle?
yeah,
Or
yeah,
is
that's
it we go to the jungle?
it's in the jungle. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's in the
Oh,
jungle.
I thought
yeah.
maybe it was just jungle animals.
No, it's
No, we
they go to the jungle. Okay, it's yeah. So maybe Jungle Fury was the last one, or maybe it was SPD. I don't know. I have to go back and
Special power
no, they were
danger.
like police officers.
Oh.
Didn't age well. I don't know if it aged well. Okay.
Oh yeah. By the way, like, if you're watching this and I don't know, you like Trump, this probably
It's
isn't the
not the
podcast
show
for
for you.
Just as like a general thing, because I really don't want to deal with that. So you
Right.
guys can go. Bye bye.
Right.
Enjoy.
So I loved the show, and actually in the 90s when Power Rangers first came out, it was such a huge hit. So huge that they added 2 more seasons to the show. And if you know the Super Sentai process, they do 1 season of each type of ranger, and then the next season is a whole new set of rangers, a whole new set of characters, and they made the old rangers may return to the new show, or the new season or future seasons of the show, but it's usually like a one-off episode or something like that. Normally there's hardly ever a situation where they sustain and stay throughout the rest of the show. But Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was so popular that they extended the show, and it actually lasted 3 seasons as a whole. And then they moved on to a new set of Rangers. But I was so much in love with the show. It was very weird to me, and I didn't think about it at the time, but it was very representative and very inspirational in so many ways. Being a black male or just a black person in general, seeing people who looked like you, seeing superheroes who looked like you on the TV screen was, a great situation because you don't always see that. In a lot of ways, a lot of those characters were white. Usually they were white, blonde hair, brown eyes, blue eyes, all of the effects. And, no shade towards you because, Erin has brown hair and blue eyes.
I
But
have brown hair, blue eyes.
Yeah.
I am Kimmy. My personality is likes to shop. I'm not a gymnast though.
She's
Maybe,
a dancer though.
Maybe I'm Trini. Maybe my personality is other
Yes,
girl.
she is a dancer though. So carry the one. But basically,
Son Zach.
exact. No, but no, but okay.
I could be.
If you've
Well,
ever,
Trini has a little bit of everything. So then,
she does Tai Chi
oh,
and Taekwondo.
I don't do Tai Chi.
Yeah. So we can see that, or maybe she just does Taekwondo. Okay, maybe I'm losing my mind, but okay, we'll figure that out once we get to the show. The premise of the show is that we're going to go over some of the episodes. We'll do the episodes in like kind of like 5 episode blocks, and we'll watch the episodes
Watch
and
with
then
us.
review. Okay, so let's start with season 1, episode 1. That was the introduction, and I want to talk about the introduction of these characters in depth. So let's talk Zach first.
Okay.
So,
So, all right. So Zach. Okay, so like we mentioned before, every character. So I think we talked about this, where
mm-hmm,
like the show was originally sort of pitched,
mm-hmm.
from what I understand, as like towards 12-year-olds, right?
It was just in general towards children.
Like yeah, like elementary school kids.
Mm-hmm.
But then they watched it and they were like, no, 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 no. How about instead we aim it towards like 6-year-olds?
Mm-hmm.
So then we went from like, oh, like characters that are like, they have maybe like 3 personality traits,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like pushing it down to like, what's your one favorite personality trait? And everyone gets one. So Zach handles every situation by dancing. And I mean, honestly, that is a vibe for me. So I like Zach.
Uh-huh.
I think Zach's cool. He is, yeah, he's cool. I like Zach.
So that is Zachary Taylor.
I like Zach. Zach's cool. Zach dances a lot, and people look at him, and sometimes when they look, I think that they're wondering why he's dancing at that exact moment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
I always wanted to do that little side roll
Yeah.
thing that he did in the opening sequence,
he does that really
but
cool.
yeah, I my body don't do that. So
We were watching the opening, and if you watch the opening and you look in the background, and I know, I've heard that they're learning, but if you look, especially at the child to the left of Zach, he looks at him like he's looking him up and down, like, what is happening? like they're like the full like, sir, this is a Wendy's. Like, what is happening? Why are you dancing in the middle of this field?
Exactly.
But that's Zach. Zach does his own thing, and I can respect that.
Right. Let's talk about Kimberly Ann Hart.
So Kimberly Ann Hart, as I said, is a walk. Well, okay. It seems like as like the very first episode, they're really pushing like Kimmy. Okay, I feel like you can encompass her the best by the very first episode when they first get pulled in to the place with Zordon.
Mm-hmm.
What is it called?
The command center.
Command center.
Mm-hmm.
When they first get pulled into the command center with Zordon, and the first thing that Kim says, dear Kim, that sweet little baby girl, she says, "This isn't the mall," or something like that.
Right.
Which confused me and charmed me about her, because I was like, oh, that's really sweet, honey bun, and then also, why did you think that was where you were going to end up? Like, she disappeared, and she was okay with the fact that she disappeared as long as she wound up at the mall. But then as she arrived at her destination and realized that no, in fact, she was not at the mall, she was in fact somewhere else, this alarmed and confused our sweet Kimberly Ann, and only then was she scared. So Kimmy's got some interesting things happening.
Mm-hmm.
Also, she's a gymnast.
Right.
And every once in a while, they like to have her do a flippy flat.
A flick flack.
A flick flack
Mm-hmm.
on the thing.
On the beam.
Thank you. Listen, I promise. I know some words sometimes. Usually, I don't. But every once in a while, a word likes to pass its way through my brain at the correct time. She does her little flick flack on the beam every
Mm-hmm.
once in a while, so they remind you that she is a gymnast.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Kimmy. She's a sweet angel baby who needs some help.
Right.
Zach is cool and needs no one's help, and somehow finds out. Like, I feel like if you gave him a pickle jar, somehow he'd figure out a way to open it by dancing. And it'd be cool. You'd
Yeah.
love it. You'd be like, this was way better than what I was going to do.
Right.
And Kimberly looks at the pickle jar and goes, this isn't a mall.
What about Billy Cranston?
Oh, I love Billy. So, little Billy. I'm sorry, I'm eating. I don't know why I decided to start eating. But
Mm-hmm.
Billy. Okay. So, David Yost. I know a tiny bit about dear David Yost. And the one thing that I know without having to be told anything is if you look at that full-grown man, he's jacked. But if you remember what I said before, his personality is smart, and you only get one, and everyone know that smart, not Jack. Smart and jacked no go together. So what is going on? So obviously the people that run, CEO of Power Rangers said, no, we cannot be jacked and smart.
Right.
One or other, no both. So everybody was like, we have to hide that Billy is secretly jacked.
Right.
So he wears these big, puffy clothes, and they have him try to learn the martial arts, and he kind of faints at it, being like, no, my little tiny tree trunk arms can't do it. My muscles are too big, I guess. And sorry.
So backstory on Billy Cranston or David Yost, his casting in the show. David Yost initially auditioned to be Jason.
Who we'll talk about.
Yes, who we'll talk about soon. He auditioned to be Jason, and as he was going through the callback process of the show, he started to realize that he was not going to book the job of Jason because he was not. It was very evident, I believe it was very evident that Jason was supposed to be a martial artist, and David was not a martial artist. David is a former gymnast. So he felt like he wasn't going to do that. So he asked the casting director if he could audition to be Billy, and they initially told him no.
Because as I said,
yes, they said he was too cute, too attractive,
no smart and jacked.
Yes, they felt
one or
that
other.
Exactly. They felt that he was too attractive to play Billy. So he said he borrowed someone's glasses and someone's shirt and mussed up his hair.
Aww.
So that he could audition for the role, and he ended up booking it.
That's lovely. That's Hollywood.
Exactly. All right, let's move on to Trini Kwan.
Okay, so that's what I was saying before about okay, listen, it might sound like I was bashing on Trini. I'm not at all bashing on Trini. Whenever I want to get something straight. Whenever I'm talking about any character or something, or it seems like I'm talking about something, first of all, number one, everything's done with love because I think the show is ridiculous and I love it. Secondly, I'm always talking to the writers because these are not real people. These are characters that are made up. So with Trini, where I was like, her personality is other girl, or that she has a little bit of everything. I just, from watching these first 5 episodes, I was like, I feel like they didn't, Kimmy's a walking, talking mall, who is a gymnast, and Zach is a dancer, and Billy is smart but not jacked, not allowed, and Jason is the martial arts man.
Mm-hmm.
And then Trini's thing is just she kind of does everyone else's thing also, but just not as good as they do it, where it's she understands what Billy says. Billy will be like, I'm saying a smart thing, affirmative, and then outstanding, and then Trini will be like, what he means is and then, or Zach will do a dance move and Trini will be like, I want to do that, and then she'll kind of do it and it'll be good, but everybody's kind of like, yeah, but that's still Zach's thing. And then her and Kimmy will be like, let's do something together, let's go to the mall, it's my best friend, and Kimmy will still be slightly better at that too. And then she's doing the martial arts, and Jason is still better.
Something went wrong.
something did go wrong. Thank you. Something did go wrong because poor Trini needs her own thing. Because I think Trini's pretty cool.
Right.
I like her vibe, genuinely. Like, I think she's got a cool vibe. You know, and I'm like, we could give her more. I'm talking to the writers.
Right.
We could give Trini more to do at this point. But I'm also looking at this from a 2022 lens.
Right.
Where, you know, like, at the time,
characters were one-dimensional.
Yeah.
They couldn't be anything more than what they were presented as. No changes could be made.
You can't be Smart and buff.
Right.
Smart and Jack not allowed.
Smart and Jack absolutely not allowed.
You one or the other.
Yes.
Everybody knows that.
Pretty and smart absolutely not allowed.
Muscles, what happens when you get muscles, they push. They push up into the brain area, and then there's no more room for more brain.
Absolutely, it's clouded. It's crowded. You know, all crowded in there.
And too much brains make muscles scared. I guess.
Yep. So then they dwindle. They dwindle. Okay. So, last but certainly not least, Jason Lee Scott.
Certainly not. I didn't know he has a middle name. Do they all have middle names?
No.
Oh. Is that his middle name, or is his name Jason Lee?
It's Jason Lee Scott.
Okay, so Mr. Jason Lee. So Jason Lee is,
or it's maybe I'm lying. Let me do my research. Nope, it's Jason Lee Scott.
So Jason Lee, JLS, is his personality trait is martial art. He likes martial arts. He does them. He teaches them occasionally. He is the Red Power Ranger.
Yes.
And he teaches martial arts.
Right.
He talks of martial arts. That is, I don't. You're looking at me like you want me to say something else.
No.
That's kind of it.
Nope, that's it.
He's also cute.
Yes, the character Austin St. John. The actor Austin St. John.
Maybe he is actually a character, though. He's a card.
His birth name is Jason.
Oh my gosh!
Right, but yes, his character's name goes by Austin. The actor goes by Austin St. John. Is a martial artist. He said that initially that he was not an actor. That's a little telling in the beginning of the show, that he was not an actor. Yeah, I mean, it's iconic though.
It is.
Yeah, so the Tyrannosaurus is iconic. Now,
Pterodactyl. I can do them all now.
Yeah, do them all. Do them.
Triceratops. You have to see the face.
Yes, you have to blink your eye and then do like a twitch like you have Tourette's.
I have a theory about that.
Right.
So straight up, like you know, because we watched the pilot.
Right.
If you see, because you have to watch both. If you watch the pilot one, and you see Billy's version of saying Triceratops in the original pilot, he's very let's say he could have a little bit more verve. Let's say he could have a little bit more urgency behind what he's saying.
Right.
He's like Triceratops, you know, and we're about to fight Billy, so maybe we could give a little more than Triceratops. So they gave him like warning before that one when they were filming him. They're like, okay, here we go, David, you ready? And he was like, yeah. And then he was like, Triceratops. And they were like, David, all right, well, you know, we're only allowed to ever shoot anything one time on this show, so we can't do another take. That's not allowed. So the next time around where they were allowed to get one more take, they were like, okay, here we go. We have an idea, we have a plan. So David's sitting there and he's getting ready. I imagine them sitting on a chair for some reason while doing this. And they're like, okay, David, like, we're going to give it, like, give you, like, 10 seconds to, like, get ready. He's like, yeah, okay. And then they just, like, go! And he went, Triceratops! And that's how, if you watch it, that's what it looks like.
Okay. That's a theory over there. That's a true
fact. I was there.
She was there. I mean, you know.
I was a boom mic.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I was the Triceratops.
Yes, in another life.
Yes.
Because she was just becoming a life almost at that time.
Don't talk about
By
that.
by the time the show was premiering, she was
Not
yeah.
in 1993. I didn't
It was
exist yet.
September in 1993. You did exist. You were a little nugget.
No one's gonna listen to this.
She was
We're
a
talking
piece
about nuggets.
piece of cornbread in the oven.
No, thank
You
you.
can go. All right, so now it's time for us to move on to our faithful commanders in the command
Oh
center, which
yay!
is
Ay ay ay!
Zordon
And
and
ay ay ay!
Alpha.
Ay ay ay!
She has now referred to him as Ay Ay Ay.
His name is ay ay ay.
It's Alpha.
If his
And
name
actually,
isn't ay ay ay, why doesn't he say it all
yes,
the time?
the original name
Ay
for
ay ay.
Zordon in the
Was
pilot.
ay ay ay?
No, you remember?
I don't
But
remember.
the original name for Zordon in the pilot was
Donzor.
no, it was Zoltar.
Jason.
It was Zoltar.
Zoltar.
So obviously they had to change that. But what are your feelings, Tor, about Zordon and Alpha? Zordon first.
Zordon, he exists. He gives them the things to do, and he does it well. And that one or two faces he makes, great. They really picked some good faces. So there's that.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the other side we have Ay Ay Ay, who is just a gem.
His name is Alpha.
Okay, okay.
Alpha.
You keep telling me that all that you want. I don't know how you haven't
His
realized
name is
it yet.
Alpha.
I really okay, great. So Ay Ay Ay, he's got a lot of spunk. Let me tell you, he's got a lot of spunk. He's got a lot of heart. You can tell that he really wants to be there, and I mean that. You know what I mean.
So you're not saying in like reference like how
places.
like how when we discuss and you see somebody in a show, like so we the other thing is that we do theater, and when you go see someone else in the show and you don't know what to say because the show was absolutely horrible, you're like, hey, you had fun out there, didn't you?
No, he really did though. No. You see, Ay 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 is more like when you go see the show, and it's like the show is like what is happening, and then there's one person that really sticks out, even though if they were in something else you probably would have been like, what are they doing? You're just happy they were doing anything, like they were making any choice. So that's how I feel about Ay Ay Ay, where I'm like, he was making a choice, like he was like living
Alpha, I won't disrespect your name.
No, how is that disrespectful? Ay Ay Ay
That's
loves
not his
the
name.
word Ay Ay Ay. I think
He likes to
would
say
love
it, okay? I like to say shit sometimes, but is my name shit?
Well, no, because that's poop. So why would I call you poop? I'm calling him Ay 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 because that's something fun. And maybe, like, looking back on it with 2022 eyes, maybe not the best choice.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know enough about it.
We'll have a prayer circle for Erin.
Okay.
Okay. So now we move on to the villains of the show.
Bum, bum, bum.
Well, no, you know what? Before we move on to those, we are introduced to Bulk and Skull.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
And as I put in
the actual real
quotations, the bullies of Power Rangers.
The true heroes of Power Rangers, Bulk and Skull.
Okay. Explain yourself.
So, okay. Again, looking at things from 2022 eyes, I'm like, so these, like, children, the teenagers with attitude, number one, they have attitude. They already outed themselves. So we're expected to look at these, like, handsome models and be like, no. Those kids over there that are handsome and attractive and gymnasts and buff and they can dance really cool, those guys are the nerds. They get picked on.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see those two kids over there that dress alternatively and don't fit into traditional, like, norms? Those are the ones that are bad. you shouldn't like those kids. They go by cool, like, alternative names, and they don't follow, like, the man, and they don't conform. Those are the bad kids.
Um, well, I make reference to they the I'm assuming, I don't know this for fact, but from my perspective, I think that they wanted to make it seem that it was cool to be smart. So the kids are cool, but they're also smart. But you'll find out in the future that, there is a different dynamic once some changes are made within the show, in reference to how Bulk and Skull are treated, for the duration of their time with Power Rangers.
Okay.
Okay?
As
Yes.
long as they get good. I'm like, they come up, and like, I remember one time specifically in the very first episode, basically all that Bulk says, he's just like, teach me your stuff, Jason. I want to take your class. He's like, teach me some of that martial arts. And yeah, okay, maybe it seemed like they were making fun of it,
mhm.
but Jason could have been taken the high road and been like, okay.
But I'm gonna put my actor brain on, and I'm gonna give my character a story. Right. Sorry, mic drop. Mic drop. Excuse me.
This is just the pilot.
But I'm going to say that there was a situation prior to, or several situations, where Bulk and Skull were being assholes, and Jason is fed the fuck up.
Well, you know what? It's called turn the other cheek. You know what? It's called second chances, third chances, 18th chances. It's called these boys have no friends and they don't know how to interact. They're socially awkward. Please help them. Jason,
Lovely.
JLS, please help them. You're
Mhm.
so handsome, and your personality trait of martial arts
Right.
is very intriguing. So they just
Right.
want to be your friend because their only personality, that's the problem. Their only personality trait is bully. They need to help them because like they have that. Someone has to give them another personality trait because you can only have one in this world.
Um,
You're allowed one.
there are layers to it.
Okay.
We'll find out that there are more layers to their characters. Everyone,
To everyone.
everyone has some layers to
Do
their
they have
character.
do they get like another personality trait?
Yeah.
They get one more?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's talk about the villains of the show. Now, first and foremost,
Okay.
Rita Repulsa.
Queen.
Queen. Okay.
Love.
You love Rita Repulsa. Okay.
Yes. Are you kidding me? The woman who plays her, which I know is from Super Sentai.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible. She is the reason. I was going to finish that sentence, but then I decided that's probably it. She just is the reason. I really like her.
She is the reason. Yeah. I think.
There's nothing repulsive about Rita.
Right. So they used the stock footage for the Japanese stock footage for, all the villains initially. So when the show starts out, they use, Machiko. Machiko, I think that's her name. They use her for as Rita Repulsa for, all of that. So that means that her, dialogue is dubbed over using another actress, a voice actress who is absolutely hilarious. She also was on The Simpsons as well. I forget which character she played on The Simpsons, but
Trust McNeil?
Let me go into my research bar. Let's see.
So
It's
yeah.
Barbara Goodson. Yes.
Rita is a boss. I love her. I hope she wins. I hope she finally defeats the Power Rangers. She teams up with Bulk and Skull.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know.
She also was on Avatar: Last Airbender. She was Song's mother. She voiced Song's mother. Mm-hmm. What else did she give?
We can talk about Avatar too.
Yes.
I love Avatar.
We can have a nice adventure talking about. What else was she? Who else did she play? No.
I want Rita to. I want GPS direction.
Ooh, she was on Angel Tales.
That's voiced by Rita.
Ooh, she was on Biohunter too.
I want her to read me to sleep every night.
Ooh, she was Digimon. She was TK's mom. Mm-hmm.
I want Rita to feed me food. Like
I'm just like trying to figure out what her like. Ooh, she was on. She was on Kakashi too.
She was on Kakashi.
Yeah, she
like from Naruto.
Yeah. No, the show, Kakashi. You know the show. Oh my God, it's this show.
Kakaishi?
Yeah.
I don't know that show.
Ooh, we got to get you on that.
Kakaishi.
Mm-hmm. Yes. She also voiced Grandma Sancho.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. And Chio. And I'm trying to think of
I want to be invited to the treehouse that Rita lives in. On the moon?
The treehouse, yes. It's on the moon or something. I don't know.
I want to get a personal invitation from Rita up to the moon treehouse.
Yes. But Rita Repulsa, she has a really scratchy voice. I would never try and imitate her voice because then I would lose it. I don't know how Barbara Goodson did that voice.
With the help of Jesus.
Ah! Yes, I'm free.
There you go. If you just
like
wait long enough, everybody knows. If you just wait long enough.
Exactly.
He'll do it.
Also, backstory on her getting Rita Repulsa. She actually was fired when she initially booked the role because they said they wanted her to sound evil, so she made her voice sound like the Wicked Witch of the West from The Wizard of Oz. And then they fired her, and then she re-auditioned and booked the role.
Obviously, because she's amazing.
Exactly. She's a beast. Next person of the villains, Finster.
Okay, so,
She was ready.
What? Okay. So now we actually get to talk about the show a little bit when we're talking about Finster.
Uh-huh.
So this show is... Okay. It seems like the actual premise of this show is that Rita, who's a boss, wants, like, to just, like, get the job done. Mm-hmm. You know? She's like, I have a career and I enjoy it and I am fulfilled by it. And so I want to do the thing that I feel like I was born to do, and I want to do it efficiently. Meanwhile, she has hired this man thing. I don't know what he is. Are they all from the same planet?
I don't think so.
Okay. Are they friends? Are they related?
No.
Neighbors?
They just work for Rita. You will see Rita's family at many points throughout the show.
But she has a family?
She has a family.
Sick.
Yes, so she does have a family.
And it's not Finster.
No, Finster is not her family.
Does she, like, put out, like, an ad? How did they meet? Did we ever find out?
There is a backstory on that, but there are backstories within within the graphic novels. So
is it sad?
No.
Is he like her adopted son?
No, none of that.
Is she his adopted daughter?
No.
That would be crazy.
None of that. No,
okay.
Rita has a relationship with her father.
She does. What?
Yes, her father does exist.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I got really scared the way that you phrased that for a second.
No.
I legitimately was like, what?
No. She has a relationship with her father.
She has, as in, like she knows
her father.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Daddy,
I got really afraid.
Yes.
So Finster. So anyway, Rita got her thing. She knows what she wants. She likes it. She likes to do it. Meanwhile, she has hired this man named Finster, who is so, like, he is so done with his job. You know what I mean? Where you're doing your job, and your job is supposed to be like you're a janitor and you're supposed to like sweep the floor. But actually, what you really want to be is like, I don't know, you want to like be a painter. And so you're like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put paint on the bottom of my broom, and I'm gonna like paint the Mona Lisa with my broom. And then like you're like, yes, I did so good. It's all swept up, and I painted the Mona Lisa. And the people come in the next day and they're like, what are you doing? I just wanted you to sweep the floor. Why are you adding all of this jazz? And he's like, you don't understand. This is my art. This is my art form. And that's how I feel about Finster, where I'm like, Rita is just asking him to do something very simple. Just like make me a monster and then like have it, you know, kill some children. That's very straightforward. And Finster's like, no, you know, not enough. What we need, not just like a big thing with teeth. No, no, no. To swallow them? No, no, no. What we need is a man. We need a big, tall man. He, take the skin away. Just bones. He does wear a hat, though, and a cape. And has magic powers?
Mm-hmm.
Why is he bones? Rita, it's my artistic process.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that you even have to ask means that you don't get it.
Right.
And that's Finster. Finster needs to change careers.
Exactly.
Because he's not fulfilled. He would be much better off. I don't know what would be his job, though, then. Is he...
He could be a sculptor.
Be a sculptor.
He could, like, you know, redesign the lair.
He could do, like, stop motion. Make his little people. And then, like... But instead of them eating... Because I don't even think he wants to kill children. Which, like, why did you answer the ad, Finster? Why did you answer the Craigslist ad if you didn't want to kill some kids? Rita put it right at the top. Right under the part that says must be some kind of, like mascot character creature. Obviously a person in a costume. After that part, underneath, it said must enjoy killing kids.
Yes. Finster is pleasantly evil.
Okay. So he does enjoy the occasional child slaughter.
Yes.
But not as much as Rita.
No.
And it shows.
No. Rita is sadistic. So
like amazing. Yeah, I said that already.
Yeah.
You said that's the same word.
I'm saying that to myself, not correcting you. I'm saying in the general sense.
That I was making a joke about how sadistic and amazing are the same thing.
I'm going to throw this rice in your face.
Please don't.
Thank you.
I'm eating it.
Yeah. Moving on, which we don't see too much from him in these 5 episodes, but he plays a major role within the show.
Is this the Lion Man?
Yes, this is Goldar.
Okay, that's his name.
Yes.
The Lion Man.
The Lion Man.
You heard the Lion King is the Lion Man.
I don't even know what he is. He's
absolutely definitely not a lion.
He's like a wolf lion flying thing.
Pharaoh.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I'm burping. He exists and he does help out Rita, and he is okay. He is bringing the vibe that Rita needs. Where Finster is doing too much. It's like, wow, you got to do so much, Finster. Right. Goldar gets it. She's like, can you go down there and kill some children?
He's described as, he's called a manticore.
So
that is a lion. So okay. He is a lion man.
So he is a lion man scorpion something.
Yes.
I forget. There's more. It's like a lion and a scorpion and...
Crazy feet.
I don't know. Yeah. Hooves?
Hooves, and he's got wings.
Yeah. So, okay. So she's like, Finster, do these things. And Finster's like, no, but I have to, like, it has to also, I have to get my artistic, like, stuff out.
It needs to resonate with him.
Yeah, it has to resonate. But Goldar, she's like, who's up for some straight up child murder, and he says every time, yes,
He
please
says in
send
this
me
voice.
down.
He
Send
says in this
me
voice.
down.
He's yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that one. And he says, no, send me down, like personally. I want to be the. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I want to be the one to watch the light leave the eyes. And Rita's like, yes, we have that same. They're like eye to eye. So then down he goes.
Yes.
And every time he runs away at the last minute,
Exactly.
which
saves his life.
I understand.
All the other monsters end up dying, so he doesn't want to die.
Well, yeah.
So I understand.
So I get it. Yeah, because like Finster's things, it's it just makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's all of like it's Finster creates new life.
Mm-hmm.
He is a god, and he giveth, he taketh away.
Exactly.
That's how he's evil. Is that he creates. That's how Finster is actually. Here we go. This is now my analysis on how Finster is actually more evil than Rita will ever be. Rita just wants to like take over the earth. Who knows what that even means? Maybe she wants to make it really great. Finster enjoys creating these abominations. What are they? And then he sends them out to die, knowing that they will, almost definitely, because they keep trying the same thing over and over again. It's like slightly different, but the same basic thing of sending a monster that Finster births. He creates new life and sends it to the slaughter immediately.
Correct, Mundo.
That, like he's talking about he's got other dreams. He's got other things he wants to do and accomplish. What about the Sphinx? Maybe the Sphinx wanted to be a teacher. Maybe Mr. Bones, like maybe he's really into, I don't know, archaeology. That's like backwards almost in a way, if you think about it.
That's a theory.
And then of course there's the there's the bagpipe leprechaun who.
So we'll put them together because they're always together.
I think he just wanted to be dead, honestly. I just think he wanted to not exist anymore.
Yes.
That would have made two of us because he was terrifying.
Yes, very terrifying. Moving on to our double team. These are Erin's favorite characters in the show. It is Babu and Squat.
No. Okay, listen.
So I will say this. Hold on 1 second. Squat is referred to because I watched Power Rangers playback with Nakia Burrise and Catherine from who is Kimberly's replacement ranger.
Is that the cat?
That's the cat. They have their own Power Rangers playback show on YouTube, and Cat refers to Squat as rhinoceros pig. So she's like, "Who's the little ugly rhinoceros pig?" So yes, his name. So Babu and Squat. So shoot.
Okay.
Your answers.
So listen, Squat. He exists.
The Rangers.
No,
what is going on?
Stop with the no. So I'm fully aware, and I went into this knowing that this show was once another show, right? Super Sentai.
Right.
And you can tell from some of the acting that this was like a show. You know what I mean? It's so anime, and I love it. I just referenced Naruto 2 seconds ago. You know I love it. I'm into it.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy, I'm looking at him, and I'm like, I know exactly, I bet, how your voice would sound. I'm watching him in the background, and I'm like, I know how this man sounds. Maybe he has like a British accent or something, and he's bumbling, but he's got some kind of dignity. He's got some kind of dignity. That's what I'm looking for. Some dignity for my dear friend Babu, which already the name, the disrespect. Babu. What is that? And then you hear you see his mouth open, and you hear the voice that they've decided to give this actor who's a real man who seemed to have put his heart and soul into this. And here comes Babu. Why would you do that to him? He's a something with feelings. He cares. What is Babu? Is he
He's
like a
like a
raven?
monkey. No, he's
He's a
like a
monkey?
raven monkey something.
He's a raven monkey.
He's like some sort of monkey.
What?
It's like a monkey, and then
What
Squad
planet?
is a rhinoceros pig.
What planet are they from? And is it okay?
There are backstories on each and every one of them. I don't know their full backstories
Are
in
they
depth.
okay? Babu is not.
Babu is
Babu should be more okay than he is. Something happened to that man.
He's not a man.
He's not a man. You just okay. Well, what? Then what?
I don't know. He's very monkey-esque.
Okay, then something happened to that monkey.
Yeah.
Something happened to that being. That I want to say human, but he's not. That soul. That living, breathing soul.
Yes.
Something happened there.
Right.
And it cannot be undone.
No.
And now we all stand witness.
Right.
To frankly, the disaster.
Right.
Frankly, the crime that was committed against that man.
Well.
Anyway, I like Babu quite a bit, but hearing his voice makes me want to rip my hair out.
And last but certainly not least, on our villain side, we have the putties.
Okay, so you see them when they're in the Super Sentai thing, and you're like, oh, cool. They're people in morph suits. Great. And then you see them in the American one, and I swear to you, why? How much does a jockstrap cost? Do you know how much does a jockstrap cost?
It can be anywhere from $10 to $30.
They couldn't spare, let's say, like $500. That should be nothing for a TV show. A spare $500.
They had to
Not
give the
even.
mom something to look at while they were watching.
I cannot. I don't want to see the mushroom tip of some man who's flipping and flopping around in more ways than one.
Sometimes the women like to see a show. I mean, you might not like looking at dick or whatever, but sometimes it might be a show.
I don't want to see it.
I mean, it's a thing,
I don't want to see it. I don't like it.
It's gray sweatpants season.
Oh,
Carry the one.
It's not a sweatband.
Yeah, well,
It's a scary band.
some lycra.
It's a lycra scary band. I don't like it.
And what about the noises they make? You like the noises?
Nice fun.
Yeah.
It's a
Nice
fun
and
little
cute.
goofy thing.
So on first episode, we get the introduction to those Power Rangers, and we also get introductions to what Rangers they are. So Zach is the Black Ranger. He represents the Mastodon. Kimberly represents the Pterodactyl. She is the Pink Ranger. Billy is the Blue Ranger, which is Triceratops. Trini is the Yellow Ranger, which is Saber-Tooth Tiger. Yes. And then Jason represents the Red Ranger.
Tyrannosaurus!
Exactly. Which is iconic. Okay?
It is iconic.
All right. Moving on to episode 2. We're 53 minutes in, and we've only gotten past episode 1. But, I mean, that was a little bit more lengthy because we were trying to introduce these characters. So, episode 2, Trini is scared of heights.
That's the
end of the episode was she overcomes it.
That is, honestly, Hamlet who.
Yes. The only thing that was noteworthy was the fact that we were using these new words like morphitudinous.
Yes. Here we go, morphitudinous, my
morphitudinous.
friends. Morphitudinous. People saying morphin like it's bitchin', being like morphin. Did we get more phenomenal in this one?
No, it came on in episode 3.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. That was a spoiler. But morphitude, I cannot even begin. This is a spoiler. We're 5 episodes in, and no one has said morphtastic yet, which I feel like is so obvious. But we got morphitudinous was the first one. Mm-hmm. How? not morphtacular, morphitudinous. That was very interesting to me.
I feel like we have to do some sort of drinking game now. Erin does not drink, so we're gonna have to do something in regard to watching the episodes and how
Every
many times
time,
they say more phenomenal
every time
or
that
morphin is
someone,
made a
yeah,
factor in that.
every time someone uses morph as like a catchphrase, one of your brain cells has to die. How about that?
So
Morphitudinous,
so
my
somebody should
friends.
like smack you in the head.
Yes,
Okay.
I'll do it.
Okay.
I'll do it to myself.
Understood. Understood. All right. Well, moving on to season 1, episode 3. Kim and Trini are trying to save the planet. So they're part of this group and they're requesting that the guys assist them in helping clean up this power plant that has caused so much pollution. This is like all about the age of like, we're being green because, the 70s and 80s, we really destroyed the world in so many ways.
Yeah.
America was down in the dumps, especially in those cities. Like a lot of factory plants from after World War II were running like nobody's business, but they did not give a fuck about the
It
environment.
was bad.
So, yeah, pollution out the wazoo. So all the guys had excuses for why they couldn't do it. We did get a brief stint of Zach teaching Alpha.
Oh my goodness! I learned how to dance.
He learned how to dance.
He was good at it too.
Exactly.
That little guy, he's got the spirit.
Right, and then we got the introduction of these new weapons. Zach was supplied with the power axe.
And it looks like a guitar too.
Yes. And then Kimberly is given the power bow.
Power. She's the Power Ranger.
She's given the power bow. And then Billy is given the power lance. And then Trini is given the power daggers.
That's terrifying.
And Jason is supplied with the power sword.
Of course.
Yes, so
Jason Lee.
Yes, these items were used to destroy the monster, and it was quite beautiful.
Also, I just wanted to point out that multiple times, every episode actually now, they're referred to as teenagers with attitude, which I really like, and I think that's so fun and corny. And that's what I mean it. Like, I love that it's so corny. But they're called teenagers with attitude. And these teenagers with attitude, their favorite thing to do is community service. So I don't really know how...
Attitude as in, they think they know everything.
Like sass?
Like a little bit of sass. Like that they know everything. That's the thing. They have lessons
sassy.
that need to be learned, Erin. That is the point.
When they go volunteer on Friday nights at the recycling plant, sometimes they get a little sassy with the manager there. When they go, volunteer at the soup kitchen, sometimes when they ask them if they can work an extra 2 hours, they kind of go, sure, but it'll cost you. And then they laugh afterwards because they understand that it is volunteer work. Yeah. And they apologize immediately afterwards.
So, a little neck roll here, and a little hand on the hip.
Yeah, and they're like...
And the shake of the finger.
And when they go, would you like more mashed potatoes? And then the person is like, yes, and thank you, you're an angel. And they're like, honestly, the seeing your face and getting to help you face to face really is more reward than any money would be. And those are the teenagers with attitude. So I want to know why Bulk and Skull were not the Power Rangers, because those are some teenagers, and they do have an attitude. I don't know which, but they do have at least one. I did watch them pour trash on the floor in this episode.
Bulk and Skull are not smart.
That is true.
Mm-hmm.
But that's no reason not to like them.
Right. Oh, you know what? There's one character I forgot to introduce. Ernie.
Oh, my favorite.
Ernie. The owner of the juice bar.
The Power Rangers. The owner of the Angel Grove Gym and Juice Bar.
Gym and Juice Bar.
Which,
yes.
like, what an idea. It's, you know, you can sit and you can, like, have, like a Orange Julius while watching your friends, do 1,010, like, little reps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was and that was the next episode. But before we move on to episode 3, we also are introduced to Principal Kaplan.
He said, "You kids, you kids cleaning up the hallways. I'll get you, Power Rangers."
Yes. Now, what really caught your eye in that scene with the principal and the fact that he threatened them to clean up? That if the room wasn't cleaned up, they would be in detention. What really caught your attention?
So what really caught my attention, and I know a lot about the biz, so what really caught my attention is, like, the fact that the director actually forced, and I say forced, these actors to actually pick up all the trash on the ground. If you watch that episode, Bulk and Skull, my bros, they did have a lapse in judgment, and they did pour out a bunch of trash on the ground. And that's not okay. We all know that. You're not supposed to do that. And so the kids were like, "Oh, man, whoa. We walked into the hallway, and the principal saw us. Now he thinks, I guess, that we did it, and is acting like we were supposed to clean it up already. But we have never talked before. We're only 3 episodes in. So it's like, well, I guess we gotta clean it." And then they put a fast forward button on the scene, and we watch as these actual human beings had to pick up a bunch of paper off the ground. It looks like in reality it probably took them a couple minutes. like maybe like 10 or 20 minutes to pick all this stuff up. That's crazy to me. Usually they would just do like a montage sort of thing, and you would just cut and it would be picked up, and you'd be like, "Oh yeah, like, you know, they swept it all up or something, or you know, like stagehands helped."
Right.
Maybe they were nice and they helped, you know, but
nope.
They watched those people. They trained the camera on these teenagers with attitude and watched them pick garbage up.
Backstory, also, this production was a non-union production. So that means that there was no true protection for any of the actors on set. They worked as many hours as the production company wanted them to, and at the time they got paid $600 a week. Now, inflation aside, and we go back to 1993, that sounds like a big paycheck for those kids who were there. That is not a good paycheck, especially with no union protection. They worked so many hours. I think they worked 15-hour days. So they worked 15 hours a day, 6 days a week, and only had $600 a week to show for it. That's nothing.
And they made them pick up trash.
How dare you?
How
I can't
dare you?
believe Haim Saban kissed his mother with that mouth.
Those are teenagers with attitude, sir.
Exactly.
I will hear about this.
Who raised you? Okay?
Mrs.
Who raised
Saban.
you? Miss. All right. So moving on to season 1, episode 4. Jason tries to beat the bench press record.
There we go. So apparently these lovely children are not the only ones that go to the Angel Grove Gym and Juice Bar. Apparently Captain America also goes to the Angel Grove Gym and Juice Bar.
You didn't know? I saw him there last week.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And so he set a bench press record of 1,000, and I'm assuming
It's 1,009, yes.
1,009. And he couldn't hack it, you know, because that's a very human number
Yep.
of reps, as
Yep.
we all know.
Mm-hmm.
I could rep that much when I was but a wee babe. So so Jason comes in, our man Jason Lee, and he's like, well, my personality trait is martial arts, so I sense a challenge having to do with the athletic abilities of my body. He's like, that's where I'm at. So he goes to do it. And spoiler alert, guys, guess what? Our man, he does it. He shames Steve Rogers in his own favorite Jim and Juice spar. The only one, but also his favorite.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, it's powerful. You get a feeling of like the torch being passed on. And it makes me ask aloud, what vat of chemical waste did Jason fall into that he can do 1,010 reps? Can you answer that question for me?
No.
Okay. Thank you for your honesty.
Jason Lee Scott is just superhuman. So that must be his super strength. And some, if we're going through to the graphic novel, he is a special type of ranger. And I will let you know that information after we get through season 3.
Okay.
So then you'll get a full understanding of what type of ranger he is.
So that definitely surprised me also, was just like, I assumed going into this that this is a magical girl anime. So anybody who knows what a magical girl anime is like, you receive an item or an outfit or something that and usually it's girls, but it does not need to be. You have the item, and then the item imbues you with magical powers. If you lose the item or the outfit or whatever,
you lose the powers.
You lose the powers. So I was assuming it's like you could say a magical girl anime or like a Ben 10.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what I thought I was coming into. But very first episode, we break in with these children, like Trini and Kimmy, like girl power flipping Bulk and Skull over their shoulder like crazy. I'm like, so these children are like, because Jason does this. He's not wearing a suit. He's got nothing on. And that came out wrong. He is wearing clothes, but he's not like glowing. He's not like, I'm using my ranger powers or whatever they are. He just can do this,
mm-hmm.
and always could. And that's part of the reason why they were chosen. So I want to know if they ever address the fact that there are mutants living in Angel Grove, and their names are Jason, Kimmy, Trini,
No,
Zach,
this is all the result of
Billy.
90s superhuman strength.
Is that a thing?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Is that just like if you were like a teenager with attitude in the 90s, did you get like superpowers?
If you were an actor in the 90s on a sitcom or a cheesy TV show, you had superhuman strength at one point in time.
Like slapstick.
Slapstick. Steve Urkel.
There you go.
Family Matters, Full House, all of that.
I apologize. I was, but according to you, cornbread in the oven at this point. So.
Absolutely, yes.
So I was not aware of that.
No, and once they got to like the late 90s, that kind of fizzled out a little bit, and they tried to be a little bit more realistic. Yeah. So a lot of this stuff would not land in the new world, and you know what also would not land is that the Sphinx took their morphing powers. So they morphed, and then they made some stuff. The Sphinx also, according to Erin, had cheeks.
Yes. Why?
He was in the squat room. He was squatting.
Why did the Sphinx need that big of an ass? But also, I really enjoyed the fact that the way that the Sphinx did his magic powers was that he just took his little hands and he made little like chicken wings with them, and then he like did the chicken dance really really hard, and it made his little costume flip back and forth, and that was supposed to be like his wings, like
He
flap.
got so the
It
Sphinx
was
didn't
really
have
cute.
ass. The Sphinx had ass.
He had a
He had ass. Okay, we did find some errors in the show. I mean, please, there's a bunch of errors because they use stock footage from a lot. So when the Rangers are morphed into their like costumes, they use a lot of the stock footage from the Japanese like Super Sentai show, and we saw that they were fighting these putties, and Jason says, "Let's get rid of these putties," and one of the putties was not a putty. I don't know what it was. It was a rock. It was, I don't know, a old turd. It might have been like, Geodude. Was it Geodude? That's in that Pokemon.
which one?
Geodude. Isn't that
The rock one?
the rock one, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was Geodude. It looked a little Geodude esque.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was.
It was like a big volcano rock.
Yeah, and I was quite disturbed by that. It did not. If anybody who has like a dog, like if you let your dog take a crap outside and you allow it to sit in the sun, it turns really black. That's what it looked like, dog turd. So
Oh,
yeah. We also asked the question: how do the kids go about daily life? Now that they've gotten these newfound powers, like are they having PTSD, any night
Yes.
terrors or something like that?
We have yet to see we've
The
yet to see
effects.
Zach
Mm-hmm.
awaken
Mm-hmm.
from a horrible nightmare
Mm-hmm.
of the putties with just like flipping and flopping
Right.
like right in front of him, right in front of his face. It's horrifying.
Kimberly
And
actually kicked something in the side, and they did a close up of the putty's nether region.
yeah, and I did not appreciate it, and I did not need that. Haim Saban. Thank
Yeah.
you. I was not happy about it, and I don't think Zach would be either. And I'm waiting to see I have yet to see the crushing pressure of being the defenders of the planet from
Mm-hmm.
the greatest woman to ever live.
Right.
Um, like I have yet to see that. Like push back on them. They
Exactly.
seem very placid. They seem very happy to just say that things are morph tubular, and and leave it at that.
True.
Where's the drama?
Exactly. The other thing that we inferred was that Kimberly always has puns. She's very punny.
Yeah, she always puns when she goes in the little thing. They get in the Megazord,
Mm.
and she always got something to say. She's cute. I like
Yes.
it when she gets in the Megazord. She's like, what's the one that she said? She said like,
This Sphinx stinks.
yeah, something like that. She's like, oh, let's jinx the Sphinx.
That's Jinx the Sphinx. Yeah. Yeah, she had very, very good puns. So if we want to talk about episodes that have not aged well, season 1, episode 5 has not aged well. There was a character in the show. She was deaf.
Yes, this one's hard to talk
It-
about because, like, we're being kind of goofy and stuff,
Yes.
but, like, genuinely, like, it's interesting. I'm actually going to be a little for real here for a second. It's interesting because when you're watching shows like this, a lot of these episodes, the fact that they were even acknowledging that, people that were not, like, the quote-unquote mainstream
Mm-hmm.
existed, to even say that they did was a lot and was considered very progressive. So this episode is that sort of thing where it's like we're even allowing a character that is deaf to exist for one episode only, and then they will disappear again. Don't worry.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry, viewers. They will go away again, and I say that with deep sarcasm. But like for one episode, we can allow them to exist. And there's just something in the way that everyone sort of like talked around her all the time.
Correct.
Like she would try to sign, and a person would be watching her sign and trying to interpret, and instead of engaging Melissa is her name.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of engaging Melissa and trying to be like, I'm really sorry, I don't quite understand, or just explaining that they don't speak ASL, they look around her at Kimberly, who is the person who is friends with Melissa in this episode, and look at Kimberly and go, what? What is she saying? And then Kimberly has to let them know what Melissa is saying.
Mm-hmm.
When, like, you know, they do portray Melissa at some point, like, writing down what maybe she'd like to say, or, you know, like, making other, like, finding other ways for them to be able to communicate with each other. But you don't ever see that development of, like, I am going to try to communicate with Melissa, instead of just, like, kind of viewing Melissa as something interesting, like, a thing, where it's just, like, or like, oh my goodness, she comes up, and this is the episode where the bagpipe leprechaun is in, by the way. And so, like,
it's Squat's cousin.
Yeah, and Squat doesn't like him, and neither do I. So bagpipe leprechaun, like, takes everyone, and they have them hostage, and
he takes the girls hostage. So the only reason why Melissa is not taken hostage because she cannot hear, but basically she saves the day.
Well,
because
and you know what?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, she saves the day. She saves her friends from you know, eternal doom.
Yeah, she follows them,
so they don't.
And then she finds out.
So they're not dancing for no money.
And she and she goes back to, you know, she goes back because she's like, I need help.
Yeah.
Because she sees them get
Yes.
kidnapped, and then she goes to find some of the friends. Why does she go to Jason? That's a kind of a plot hole. Why didn't she go to the police? Because she doesn't know that they're the Power Rangers. She should have gone to the chief of police.
Well, the reason being
why
is
didn't
that
she break this? Why
episode
does no one care that this is happening?
The episode would not finish if they just went to the police.
Does no one care that this is happening though?
No.
Not a single person
not
cares.
A single soul cares. Okay. Everybody in Angel Grove is out for themselves, and when problems occur, they're like, "Where the fuck are the Power Rangers?" And that's basically what is going to happen through the duration of this time. But the other small things that we found out is that Babu speaks again, and he speaks. So I have some quotes here, and I'm going to have Erin read them in Babu's voice. Right. Okay, quote number 1.
It has to be risky.
Quote number 2.
He gets a bit bossy, doesn't he?
And then number 3.
It's cooking, so back off, bucko. I want to kill someone for Babu, is how I feel about
that. Also, no pun for Kimberly this episode.
No, yeah, that's right. No, yeah, because Kimberly had some pretty good ones for the, like, where she's like saying something cute. It rhymes or something because she's the last one, so she feels like she has to really, like, put a button on it. And she's like, yeah.
Right.
But this time, they decided to let Kim relax, and I appreciate that. I feel like she could use a little relaxing, where she's like, I'm just happy to be here, guys, basically. What she says is, this is my favorite part, where they just get in the Megazord.
Exactly.
So she's just like, I'm just like, thanks for inviting me.
Also, Erin also made reference to how the Megazords are connected.
Oh, yes.
And how Triceratops and Saber-toothed Tiger are connected. And how do we feel about that, Erin?
The Triceratops and the Saber-toothed Tiger, you said?
Yes.
They connect to the feet of, is it the Mastodon?
Yes.
They connect to the feet of the Mastodon through, they have little buttholes. And that's what it is. It's at their butt, and it opens, and there are little buttholes, and they connect to the feet.
It's gaping.
Yeah, it kind of is. A little bit.
How do you feel about that?
I don't like it, but I guess it's what it is.
I mean, it is.
They have to, like, connect.
Right. So, yeah, they're connected by the butt.
By the butt. By their little buttholes. And,
you know, and
I mean, if that gets the job done, then it gets the job done.
And at the end of every episode so far, it's a happy ending and always ends with a freeze frame of them laughing.
It's a thing of like, ha ha ha.
Yeah, and it's like frozen in the frame. Backstory: they all hated those scenes every time
Of
they would have to
course.
do the freeze frame. Not one of them found it enjoyable in the least bit. So they understand. We understand. 1 plus 1 equals 2, and that's how we feel about that. I would just like to thank everyone. This has been fun having this
Yeah.
conversation with Miss Erin. I mean, we are going to continue doing this
Yes.
because it's just fucking fun. And I think that this is going to be the start of something really great.
It's
And I
fun.
can't wait to actually video her live reactions to certain episodes. I can't wait to get to the movie.
Oh my god.
I can't wait, which is not canon, but
It's not canon.
it's not canon, but it still makes sense
Oh, okay.
within the show.
And like the rest of the show makes sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But the movie's just great, but
I'm
it's
really having a good time.
yes. So I can't wait for her to have an even better time watching these future episodes with me. I hope you all join us again and again and again and again and again. Uh, and that's all. Thank you for listening to It Started with Power Rangers. We will see you later. Bye.
Bye.